Hello, everybody. You're watching the Smoking Hot Coffee Show. My name is Amul. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm joined with.
Hey guys, I'm Jeff Pelton. I'm down here in San Diego.
And so every day we talk to startup founders about their startups. And today we've got a great interview with Nicholas from Wantering.com. So, Jeff, tell us a little bit about what does Wantering do?
Well, their homepage says discover clothes you'll love. And basically what they do is they help you through a little bit of profiling and some of your own curation, serve up clothing and fashion that you would love in kind of like a magazine, sort of Pinterest, social newsfeed format.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So they've got basically it's an e-commerce store. So they are, or is it like a recommendation engine for clothing, for fashion?
I think so, yeah. But the clothing you can actually purchase, or at least it'll click through to the store where you can buy it.
Gotcha, gotcha. So one of the great little takeaways from this interview that I got was, Nicholas had really leveraged the social network that is,
Tumblr.
Tumblr. Yeah, sorry, I lost there for a second. Yeah, so Tumblr, they've got 200,000.
Yeah, when we start these interviews, we never quite know where we're going to end up by the end of the conversation, and we found out they have quite an audience on Tumblr.
Yeah, yeah, and so I was really excited to hear that they had this huge audience on Tumblr, and so I asked him point blank, like, how did that happen? How did they get that going? And he was kind enough to share exactly how they got that built up there, and then using that Tumblr audience to sort of start to siphon off that big, huge river, because Tumblr is a huge audience, right, Jeff? How many blogs they got on that thing now?
I don't know, lots. The
50
news.
million? 100
Yeah,
million?
the big news today is there's rumors that Yahoo might be looking to buy them.
Wow.
Which who knows if that'll be what'll happen there. But I wouldn't even look at it as siphoning off Tumblr users. I mean, there's certainly a lot of audience, their common audience on Tumblr. I think, young people who are familiar with the technology, but I think their blog is really just powered by Tumblr, and like allows that audience to, join their blog even easier.
Right.
But I think the real value is the content that they're providing, or, even if it's just, curated content, obviously it resonates with a whole lot of people.
Well, I really particularly loved how they're really focusing on the fashion space. They're focusing on the differences that they have with Pinterest. Because I know Pinterest is a very large female following. I like the fact that he shared with us some of the early tricks to get the huge mass following on Tumblr. He talked about their early when they were just founding the company, him and just this other fellow, and how they raised their first seed capital. Now they've obviously gotten some angels on board, and he talked a little bit about his runway and all of that. And so, they've got an exciting vision. I really tried to explore, how the web crawler works and why, what kind of signals are they looking for and how they could differentiate themselves versus like a Pinterest, for example. Yeah, clearly their business model is going to be related to affiliate programs, which is some good money, but not enough money. So they're definitely going to be exploring private sales directly. And so he shares with us their business model. Jeff, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, we also get them to show us the new version of the site that they're working on, the new version of the product, which was great to see a sneak peek of that.
Yeah, and so if you're remotely interested in fashion and remotely interested in how to possibly even leverage the massive network that is Tumblr, this will be a really great interview to watch. So with that, please subscribe. We're on iTunes, and of course you can always subscribe to YouTube. Anything else you'd like to add, Jeff?
Yeah, we just really appreciate everyone commenting and rating us in iTunes and YouTube. And we're, as we mentioned in the interview, we're also on Tumblr.
Yeah.
So if you guys are on that channel, please do go check us out and let us know how you want us to maintain that blog.
Okay. With that, let's cut to the interview. Thank you so much for being on the show, Nicholas. Tell us a little bit about your startup and the space that you're in. I know you guys are doing clothing. Give us a quick overview where you're at and all that kind of thing.
Sure. So we've been working on this for the past 18 months. Our goal is really to solve some of the most basic challenges in online shopping.
Well, I like that you're going right into the challenges.
Shopping startups.
Okay.
But a lot of people are doing really esoteric stuff where you have to, hold up a QR code or scan something off the TV, or, there's lots of impulsy stuff around daily deals.
Okay.
We want to solve the most basic problem in online shopping of, I need a new wallet. How do I find the best possible wallet?
Okay.
And so it's a really simple problem, and it turned into this very complicated system that we have to build to solve it. But we basically built a product search engine that crawls the web for the latest fashion trends, and crawls hundreds of thousands of products,
Okay.
uses social signals to bubble up the best one, and then delivers the results to you in a really easy to browse format.
Okay.
I think this is something that people take for granted as being done, but really nobody's doing it particularly well. You look at Google Shopping; it's an embarrassingly poor experience, I think, given the unbelievable quantity of knowledge that Google has about me.
Right.
Their results are just terrible, and so we think we can do orders of magnitude better.
Whoa. Okay, so this is
Interesting.
huge, Nick. You guys are. That's a big vision. That is a big vision you got there, my friend. So how? Let's get into specifics. How exactly? What are you doing? So you're basically going after the major sort of little sub niches of clothing. Let's say wallets, shoes, wedding dress. I don't know. I don't know what the specific verticals are. And then you're looking at all the Twitter mentions for that. Explain to me, how does this work?
Twitter we might do one day. We do Supply and Polypore, Pinterest, and Tumblr, which are much more aspirational, much more taste-based, less spam as a ratio. And so we use those signals to bubble up the best products. And then we crawl the stores themselves. We have a curated set of retailers that have a few 100,000 products. We crawl their site, pull in all the metadata, the really big high-quality photos, everything we can get our hands on. And we mash the two of them together to create a really great result.
Wow.
Oh, that's really big.
Yeah, that's really big.
So
You guys are like the
this is
ultimate-
rolling out in the next few weeks. The current version that you see online does a tiny, tiny subset of this.
Okay.
We still do the social scoring, but we don't have nearly the same level of fanciness, and we don't have a search box, for example.
Okay.
Search box is a very important part of it.
Well, we were referred to you vis-a-vis Max Teitelbaum from WhatRunsWhere, and he is a smart guy. That guy is not an idiot, and he knows what's up.
Love dealing with Max. Really great value-add investor.
So talk to us about how you met him, why he invested in you guys. What was that secret sauce that you showed him? He was like, all right, I'm in.
So Max came through an accelerator that we were part of. We got introduced as part of that. And then I think he checked out our angel list. We were in the middle of funding. And, we hit it off. We had a great call. Max is really easy to get along with. He's, totally brilliant in the online marketing space.
He is, man.
Yeah, so that was really easy. I mean, we talked to Max at 9 a.m., and I think he had a check for us by 1 p.m. Like, this was...
Whoa. Okay, hold on a second, man. Wait, I'm going to dive into this a little bit, because Max is smart. What did you show him? I mean, what was it on the slide deck? What was it in? Was it your scraper? Was it your crawler? Was it your signal filtering? What was it, man?
I think it was the combination of the grandness of our vision, the fact that, we were executing really fast, and we had, a lot of hypotheses about where the market was going that he seemed to agree with.
Okay.
I think we were trying to avoid falling into some of the traps that he'd identified in the market.
Give us some examples of these traps.
Sure. So a lot of people kind of confuse social shopping and actual shopping. And so I think there's very different contexts here. There's a lot of sites that are really wonderful for talking about what you want to buy and, truly just pure aspirational content.
Okay.
And I don't think those types of sites convert particularly well.
Ah, okay. So aspirational shopping. This is when I wish I could have that. It'd be great to have this. Sure. But obviously I don't have that fucking $100,000 to buy that car. So it's...
Yeah, and you get this mixed content where it's purely social, where anyone can, upload anything as long as there's an image and you have the bookmarklet.
Okay.
And so it's a mixed experience where some stuff is in stock, some stuff is out of stock, some stuff is, a concept product or it comes out in 6 months.
Okay.
It's almost
in
just
that
people
environment, I don't want to spend money because it's, a little bit hit and miss.
What were you saying, Jeff?
Yeah, I could see it's just some of these aspirational sites. People are just like expressing their taste, and they could be posting stuff that's like way out of their price range, or like you said, theoretic, like just a design, just like it doesn't even exist, not tangible, or there's no buy button, right?
Totally. And so we take some of this aspirational content and we use it as a signal in our system, but then we package it up in a way where 100% of the products you see are available for purchase right now.
Oh,
and so that's a totally different context.
Okay.
And I think just a much better experience when you're really in the mood to buy a new wall.
So when people come to you, they already kind of have the intent to buy. Like they're in the shopping mode, not the flipping through a catalog mode or flipping through a magazine like Vogue or something. It's more like flipping through Macy's. Okay.
All right, so you've got a grand vision here. I'm just trying to figure out the technicalities here. So you've got a lot of different signals. You're deciphering between the aspirational ones and the ones that are realistic. You're also looking at a couple of other sources like the Pinterest and the other ones that you mentioned to try to get at the more practical, real solutions to what's the best wallet I should be getting. Am I right here?
No, you're totally on point. That's exactly it.
And you're saying the way you're filtering and the sources that you're selecting from is your key differentiator versus Google Shopping or some of these other sites.
One of the other nice things that we have that a lot of other guys don't is we don't rely on XML feeds to get our product data. Okay. We actually crawl the sites ourselves. A lot of players, they just get one giant feed from their affiliate network.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's weeks out of date, so the prices have changed, the stock has changed.
Okay.
And the other problem is that those feeds give you kind of 400 pixel wide or 600 pixel wide images.
Right.
And when you're shopping for stuff that's about taste, you want the biggest possible image you can get.
That's awesome. I love that you guys wrote your own crawler. All right, so tell us about this crawler. Jeff will tell you I love robot crawlers. I love this stuff. So tell us about that. Give us your background. I mean, are you part of the developer team? Are you one of the developers? Are you one of the biz dev guys? Where are you?
So we have 4 co-founders of Wantering. I am the least technical of the 4 co-founders. Okay. I still write some code time to time, but it's really crappy code. It's the worst code of the 4 of us, I can assure you. So I'm not involved in writing the crawlers day to day. My partner Matt and Jesse and Cody, they write all that stuff.
Okay.
But I do a lot of work around product vision and dealing with the requirements around the crawlers, trying to make sure that we're approaching the problem the right way.
Okay, so how many stores are you crawling right now? Can you give us a ballpark? So
we have about 200,000 products in our index right now that are across, several thousand small boutiques because of crawling some aggregation sites like Farfetch. Okay. I think we'll probably double that in the next month or so.
Okay.
Try and get to maybe 500,000 this summer, and then really just keep growing from there. We have a lot of big stores right now. I love having these boutiques that no one else has access to. That's
huge.
That's huge. That's huge. Yeah. I was gonna say, why don't you just do these little tiny verticals and just scrape Amazon and just look for the most reviewed and just pop those up, or something like that. But now you're saying, hey, we're going after these smaller boutiques. Maybe they're not even on Amazon.
Stuff that's hidden.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I want as a shopper, and a lot of what we do is just building something for us. And so those are the places that carry the lines that I want to buy.
Okay.
So that's where we're going. And when I shop around on Amazon, the signal to noise ratio is pretty bad.
Okay. Okay. Why? Give me. I didn't know that the signal to noise ratio was that bad, and I tend to find that the reviews and they tend to be 10 out of 50 or whatever it is. I generally look for the most reviewed thing just to try to get a pretty good sentiment. But why do you say that? I'm just curious.
So when you're buying a Blu-ray player, that is a perfect strategy to find the best thing. But when you're buying something that's as emotional as fashion, it really helps to have a more curated marketplace. And reviews aren't necessarily the best indication. You want something maybe that's a leading indicator instead of a lagging indicator of quality. And so Pinterest is maybe actually a better source of that data.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of what you guys are doing is seasonal, right? You talk about the scraping these sites and the XML feeds. I was also going to ask, what pushed you over the limit? It said, we can't use the XML feeds. It doesn't offer enough. Was it just the images and that sort of stuff, or was it the limitations of not having the dark, parts of the web that don't offer XML feeds?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of both. Definitely having access to all these other places. Daily deal sites are a great example. I love the content that you find on something like Guild. I hate having my inbox fill up with it every day.
Okay.
But, if I'm in the market for a sweater, absolutely, when I type in sweater into whatever my search site is, I want to have a Guild sweater that's on sale today come up near the top of that list.
Okay.
And this is just the only way that you can have a system that would support that.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
fashion just changes much quicker than a lot of the other retail,
Yeah.
like the big box stuff.
You know what, Jeff? You're totally right on. So yeah, obviously fashion's very seasonal oriented. Are you guys going to eventually get this thing to where you have several more bots going when the spring line is introduced or the summer or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty good at just catching everything as it comes in. And then there's this natural flow where as summer picks up, people start talking about summer items, and those just naturally bubble up in popularity.
Okay.
And so we really just mirror wherever people's interests are.
Okay, so I'm just curious here. So how are you monetizing? Are you going to go direct the affiliate route, which is kind of what Pinterest is doing? Is that or are you going to do some other sort of private situations within these boutiques?
Partnerships.
So I think the affiliate route makes the most sense in the short term. I think, having a richer relationship with stores, that's probably a more interesting long-term play. Affiliate, you need just such a ridiculous amount of volume, and I think we're going to have very high-intent users who are using our site,
Right.
and there's probably better ways to directly monetize it.
Gotcha.
Sometime in the next few months, we're going to do some little experiments around direct sales, see if we can, do some direct checkouts.
Okay.
We'll see.
Having Max on board as part of your, investor, and part of just having access to him, he is a master at using display and trying to get eyeballs. So I'm hopeful that he'll be able to really push you guys a lot of eyeballs. What has he given? Has he given you guys any advice on any maybe going direct to certain fashion sites, cutting deals with them? What kind of role has he played in that regard?
So far, we've been really just heads down working on getting this next version of the product out, which has a few key distinctions from the current version of the product. Be much more of it that's just publicly accessible on the open web. Up until now, a lot of it's been closed. You had to log in to use most of Wantering.
Right.
It meant that most of the brilliant ideas sitting in Max's head, just weren't workable in that model.
Yeah.
But as soon as this new version rolls out, I have a feeling we're going to be spending a lot of time on the phone chatting about ways we can get more eyeballs at this.
I couldn't think of a better guy to have on your team, man. Max is awesome. I love that guy.
I mean, we've been really blessed to have a wonderful group of investors. Paul Kodrowski adds tons of value around product strategy, and he uses our product a lot, gives us very pointed feedback. Ted Reingold is just brilliant with marketing and social, and he's also been, a terrific asset. He's also just a great product realist. He pushes us always to, keep executing, keep moving. He's a fantastic motivator.
Okay.
And that he's, very cheery and then tells us that we're, 6 months from death all the time.
I love
it's
that.
good to have one of those people on your team.
I love that. I love that. I love it.
So besides display ad type stuff, I mean, do you guys have a pretty good viral loop or any sort of mechanisms to facilitate,
great question.
Acquiring new users through your existing user base?
Yeah. So we've been on Tumblr since before we were a company. The first version of Wantering was actually a Tumblr, which was me just manually going through fashion blogs, curating products, posting it up, and saying that I was an algorithm. Oh. And so we've had a really good relationship with Tumblr, and we've been able to amass a pretty large following there. We have about 200,000 followers right now.
Oh, 200,000 on Tumblr. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and we're adding somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 a day. Our Tumblr audience.
I kind of want to drill down here really quick here. How did you get so many guys on Tumblr? Give us a couple of nuggets.
Yeah, but before you get into that, I was going to tell our audience I'm about to shut down our Tumblr because I'm not getting any response. So I definitely need some advice here.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
So we started off just posting really great products 30 times a day. One of the things that is important about Tumblr is that it's such a fire hose. If you're not posting consistently, you just disappear into the noise.
Okay.
So having 30 plus posts a day goes a long
Okay,
way.
so frequency of posts is key. Okay.
Yeah, that was the first thing that we learned.
Okay. What other big nuggets do you want to share with us?
The other nugget is that niche content works really well. So we don't just have one Tumblr. We actually have about 40. And they're all in very specific niches. So there's a socks Tumblr, and there's a men's sweaters Tumblr. There's a Tumblr.
Oh, I love this.
Clothing.
Yes.
And so what we ended up having to do was we built our own Tumblr CMS, and we put out a product, and it's a red men's sweater, and then the CMS decides that it has to go to our red Tumblr and our sweaters Tumblr.
I love it. Wait, so this is almost like a little bit of an SEO channel, a keyword channel. All these different channels on Tumblr.
Yeah, and then we can use different tags so that we can show up in the right tag searches by having multiple channels to push into. We can use different tags in different places, and that's often helpful. We do all kinds of funny stuff in our Tumblr. As you can see there, we have additional metadata that you could see on the page as pricing info and brand that doesn't actually show up in the dashboard feed because that would be kind of spammy content. If in the dashboard context, you don't want to see too much shopping detail, but when you're on the product page, you might. And so we found a way to sneak in this data by putting in a data attribute inside the post when we're publishing, and then we suck it out in JavaScript just on the page.
Oh, clever. I like that.
We do a bunch of little tricks like that. If you mouse over to the top corner, you can see there's a top influencers button.
Yeah, see the top
influencers there. Okay.
Yeah. And we actually have our own in-house Tumblr analytics system that tracks the interactions with our Tumblr.
Oh, that's great.
In real time, who are the people who are interacting?
Oh, I love this, man. I love this,
kind of
Nick.
Gamify our Tumblr.
Yes. This is the kind of stuff.
That is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we've got way overboard with our Tumblr marketing.
You can't go any overboard. I mean, if you're finding that a lot of these fashion-forward people tend to be on Tumblr, it's your job to be able to leverage all these tools.
Totally.
And to create these in-house, because honestly, I haven't seen any of these on any of the Black Hat blogs that I read.
Yeah.
This sounds like a very homebrew system that you guys have over there.
Yeah, this is something we kind of invented ourselves, just out of the desire to figure out what else would make these users of ours have more fun or enjoy our product more. Yeah. And so we do tons of little experiments like this. And some of them work and some of them don't.
Holy cow, man. I just want to talk about this all day long. So come on,
you want to tell us about a crazy experiment that didn't work? Yeah, I mean, this is just we love the freedom of the web and the fact that you can try crazy stuff.
Yeah, so one of the ones that didn't work was just putting more content into the actual posts themselves. Okay. We tried that for a long time, and we'd write these much longer posts. And what we found was just the Tumblr audience, they don't want anything that feels like you're really actively selling to them, and they don't want stuff that's too weighty. And so that was something that didn't work out for us. We now we have a blog where we do some longer form editorial content. Okay. And what we've done is we have a really great animated GIF at the top and a nice blurb at the beginning. Okay. And we get a lot of reblogs out of that. And then
what network is this? Is this a WordPress, like a hosted blog? Or where are you doing this?
Well, this is also Tumblr. If you go to blog.wantering.com, you can see just that, higher quality editorial stuff.
Okay.
Okay, I see.
Let's take a look at that.
And so that we do interviews with industry insiders, trendsetters. We've been using our networks to get, really great people to come onto our blog.
This is fantastic. So let me talk to you a little bit about this. So this is that whole area of content marketing. Mm-hmm. Obviously you've got this whole other thing with Tumblr marketing. That's a whole river right there. Now the next thing is this whole going after trendsetters in your space, interviewing them, talking to them. What have you found? Like how are you finding these people in the fashion space? Obviously, you're a dude. I mean, there's a lot of chicks on this blog. Do you have a couple of ladies that are flipping through Vogue every day, or how are you doing this?
So we have a bunch of ladies. They're in New York right now, just meeting with some of the people from our community.
Okay.
And the ladies run the blog. I do very, very little on the actual blog interviewing side because they're obsessed with this stuff on a level that I'm just not.
That's awesome. Love that.
But what we do is we use our massive Tumblr audience as a motivator to get people who might otherwise ignore our cold email.
Right.
When you say you have 200,000 readers,
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love this.
And so we've been pretty lucky with just being able to say, hey, wouldn't it be cool
you're not.
to have
No, you're not pretty lucky,
this person
Nick.
on the blog?
You are not lucky, Nicholas. You've got 200,000 followers, for Christ's sakes. These people want to come on. They want to talk to your ladies.
Yeah, and so it's a mutually beneficial arrangement in that sense because it's, you know, pretty good exposure. I don't know how many ad-free blogs there are as big as ours. It's, you know, a nice-sized audience, and everyone gets benefits from it.
Oh, this is great.
You know, when we interview upcoming designers, they get sales out of it. It's a win-win.
This is great. So clearly building that viral audience on Tumblr with these sort of homebrew CMS tools, influencing tracking, you know, putting these small little tiny tidbits of imagery on the posts themselves, niching down the different Tumblr blogs, that has been the sort of foundation for you to go after these people in this space.
Totally. We couldn't have done one without you.
Oh, that's awesome. I love this. I love this. Jeff,
Yeah,
I love this guy.
Having the niches is just incredible amount of effort and dedication, I think.
You know what, Jeff? I was going to say I love this guy simply because of the turtle back there, but I love this guy for all of the other reasons, too.
Yeah.
All right, really quickly here, Thomas, show us the office. You got to show us the office.
Oh, sure. So I can show you our Mario-themed boardroom here.
Yes.
Awesome.
This is all made of Lego, by the way, and handmade.
That
We got
is
the
awesome.
up here, and you can see the little potted Mario plant.
Oh,
Here, I
yeah.
can take you out into the office, too.
Okay.
That's sweet.
Whoa.
Hey, guys. Wave to the internet.
Hey.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Don't stop working for us.
Yeah, exactly. Very cool, man. I love the Mario theme stuff, man. It's great.
That's cool.
Okay.
It's glad to know that you guys have, you know, a lot of fun there.
Yeah. So, all right. So, tell us, where are you guys? Where are you headquartered at? How big is the team, etc.?
So we're in Vancouver, BC. Team's 10 people. You know, we're just working hard trying to get this next version of the product out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you keep talking about this next version. Can you
how
share your
long
screen?
before we see it?
Yeah. Can you share your screen? Can you show us anything?
So we can give you a little sneak.
Give us a
peek
little taste. Give us a little taste.
All right.
It's on the left as a screen share. Jeff, I think we're gonna have to put in some Mario icons somewhere in our show, Jeff.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
can you see this?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this is a search for Floral. We'll just switch to men's stuff. And
Oh, I like the way that expands. That's cool.
so you can flip
I like the
around.
male and the female sort of search icon. That is great. I like the way you guys did that.
So we have really big pictures. That's kind of one of our tricks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
We tried to design this to be super fast.
Okay. Are you guys is everything all on S3, all Amazon, or?
So we have a good relationship with Flair. Flair has pretty comparable products.
Awesome.
They hook us up. They're great.
Okay.
This looks really nice. I assume this will work just as well on an iPhone or a tablet.
Totally. I mean, we really designed this mobile first and desktop second.
Okay,
tablet
so
experience.
before you drill down, I just want to look at this for a second. So you've got the sort of card multi-column display. You've got the heart in the corner. So what exactly is that heart? I'm logged in. I'm basically just favoriting. Is that what's going on here?
Exactly. You can favorite any item,
Okay.
and we can start to improve your results based on what you're favoriting.
I got you. And when you say you're going to improve the results, you're going to look at that he picked wallets and that he's picking this manufacturer. How are you filtering? Just give me the secret sauce here a little bit.
Yeah, what is the algorithm?
Yeah. So there's a little bit that's literal, just based on the categories that you're looking at,
Okay.
and then we can do a little bit of the machine learning type stuff to just extrapolate. People like these types of items generally also like these types of items.
Okay.
And get better recommendations through that,
Gotcha.
where it's slightly less literal.
Okay. So then you're looking at maybe.
The trick to it is just to have great content from the top,
Okay.
so that you can just type in anything you can think of and get a fantastic.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Let's try and backpacks. Okay, so hold on. Don't scroll on. Let's go back to the top again really quick here. So that first row you're saying that's the most popular backpacks on your network. Is that correct?
Totally.
And it's the most popular backpacks because the data you're scraping and the sentiment on all these blogs is sort of saying the same thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we also take timeliness into effect, so
And are these
over time that's going to shift.
are these ladies? Are they the group of ladies that you got? Are they going in and doing some manual curation, or is there any manual human beings involved in any of this?
Not right now. I think we might add some of that in later. They're certainly going to be active on our site, and of course, our first-party data. Who hearts what? That's also a factor in ranking. So I think everyone's on the site hearting stuff,
Gotcha.
and we get to influence things a little bit through that.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Very cool. Very cool. How many of these mini categories, like, I mean, what are we looking at in terms of, like, do you have autocomplete up at the top there? How many of these do you have?
We'll have autocomplete pretty soon. It's not in there right now, but
Okay.
I mean, anything that you can think of in terms of fashion and apparel,
Gotcha.
we can pretty much satisfy.
Gotcha. Now, in terms of SEO, it looks like you're doing pretty good on your URL here. It's very nice, nice and clean. When you drill down on one of these shoes, are we going into that specific shoe? How's that URL looking?
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. And now that buy now, eventually you're going to set up a relationship with Mr. Porter, or is that going to MrPorter.com?
So it goes to MrPorter.com. We collect affiliate fees through Skimlinks, who are wonderful.
Wow, these images are great, man. Look at these.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, you
this
just don't
interface
get
is
this
really
kind of
beautiful.
detail on any other comparison shopping.
Jeez. Yeah, this is the key, man. Getting these massive images.
Totally. It's one of those things that sounds really simple and obvious, but it's a total game changer, and there's not that many people who have access to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're pretty excited about it.
It's really hard
It
to
doesn't sound great in a press release, but it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've actually, I had some experience back a long time ago doing a surf shop e-commerce site and doing some of the image, just laying out the images. Consistency, having all of the shoes have white backgrounds is kind of important, right? Do you run across situations where you get photos that don't fit, that just stand out among the rest? Like all of these shoes are pointed in the same direction.
And they're all on the white background. This can't be robots.
And they're all coming from different sources.
Some of it's just luck of the draw. I mean, there's stores that stand out. Union Made, they do everything against a black background for some reason.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But, we just try and have a layout that looks pretty good with mixed content, and that seems to get the job done.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it looks great so
I have
far.
to tell you, Nicholas, this is a beautiful, beautiful interface. It seems like everybody's moving towards this multi-column card interface. Google Plus, with all this stuff that Google just released, it seems like that seems to be the trend these days. What's your feeling?
I think when people are in a certain mode, you want to give up every inch of the screen to pictures.
Yeah.
And, that's just going to limit the number of possible designs you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very few ways that you can put this many pictures on the screen that are going to look different from what we have here.
That's a good point.
Ours is a little bit different than, say, a Pinterest, where the content is totally uneven in height. Actually, all of our elements are the exact same height, and we just stagger them, which makes it a little bit easier to track as you scroll.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. Oh, I didn't know. You're right.
It's a subtle distinction, but I think it actually makes it easier to browse through.
Okay.
Because sometimes you're on Pinterest, and there's one item that's like an infographic, and it's 100 miles high.
Right.
We don't get into those issues.
Gotcha. So, can you explain to us what are those icons on the top left there? We've got a hanger and a heart. I get that, and the person with a heart.
So this is staging stuff, so they don't go anywhere right now. But this is your personal recommendations, your hearted items, and this is stuff that other people have hearted. So that's kind of trending on the site.
I got you. Cool. Now, are you? I'm assuming you're building in some social sharing, social connections within
exactly
Wantering.
So we already have it plugged in that as you heart items on our site, it's tied into Open Graph. I think there's going to be more sharing options that we're going to roll out in the next. Are you
going to build? Are you guys considering building your own homebrew social network? Or are you just going to leverage Facebook? What's your feeling?
That's something we're not particularly interested in. There's a lot of people who are doing this stuff very well. Who are building, social networks for fashion. I think for 5% of the consumers, 10% of the consumers, they have tons of options if you're really into that stuff. Mm-hmm. I would say that the silent majority are people who just want to find great stuff, and they don't want to have any barriers to signing up, where you have to create a profile.
Right.
Sorry.
No problem. Okay, gotcha.
So we want to keep this, a really great logged out experience. a really fast to set up experience,
Right.
I think that benefits everyone.
Okay, yeah, no, it's good, especially in the beginning because the resources are always constrained. You got to focus on what you can do quick and fast and the best. Yeah. All right, so tell us about this 35% off. All those.
Yeah,
How do you?
I was gonna say some of those, yeah, have sales on them. How
Yeah.
do you get determine the 60%, 40% off?
Yeah.
Sure. So we just keep track of the products, and we crawl them regularly. And when we tell that the prices drop, we bubble it up so that you as a user can see it.
Okay. So how are you able? Are your crawlers detecting that it's for sale, and how do you know when it's not for sale?
Yeah, we're just really regular with our crawling. So we get information as to when the price changed, when it goes back to the retail price, when it sells out. We have really great data around that.
This is great, man. I love these
That's
jackets.
great.
Are awesome, actually. I might have to
Another
go back
good-
to this site. All right, I'm
Another
actually
great reason
interested
to-
in your products here, Nick. You're doing a good job here.
Well, here's a big question: is what's your percentage of male-female split?
Right now it's about 60-40 female.
Oh, wow, that's great. And we're in terms of like traffic and all that. How you guys doing? What kind of numbers are you guys hitting right now?
So most of our traffic at the moment comes through our Tumblr audience. We've got about 200,000 people who are coming by here through that Tumblr distribution.
Wait,
I think that
200
breakdown is certainly going to change once we have a large publicly accessible website.
Wait, when you say 200,000, you're talking about 200,000 uniques a month, or what?
So I think 200,000 come by a week.
Week?
So that's from our 200,000 Tumblr followers as well as some SEO, our email people, all together.
Okay, that's a lot already, man. That's great. How many? What are you looking in terms of conversion out of that 200,000? What are you getting? Like 0.05 people are actually clicking through the vendor site. How are you guys tracking that?
We're not tracking it too aggressively right now. We're definitely going to be tracking it more in the future. Well, when we get some hard data on that, we'll be sure to share it.
Okay, this is great. This is really great. Well, cool, man. Thanks for sharing. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's great to see the next version that you guys are working hard away at.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're gonna get back to you eventually. You can just turn off the screen share. I think that'll probably fix that.
Oh, sure.
There we go. All right, cool. All right, well, I have to say, Nicholas, it's very impressive what you guys are doing so far. A team of 10. What is your runway looking like? What do you got? About 6 months, 12 months? How's that looking?
A little more than 6 months.
Okay, so 6 months. All right, so you guys are gonna have to kill it in 6 months here.
Close to that, but yeah.
Very cool. What are the big? What's the next big wings that you need to have? What's the next things?
So we have a lot of stuff that has been played with by a few dozen people. We need to get it out there, start getting into those iteration cycles, doing more user testing, improving the core product.
Okay.
I think that's the next big thing, is just getting this into a lot of people's hands.
Okay. Tell us really briefly, because I don't think I got into this. How did this all happen? Like, was this your brainchild? Whose brainchild was it? How did the team form?
So Matt and I, we had a consulting company together, a little dev shop. We built, very large mobile or web apps for brands or for agencies a lot of the time.
Okay.
And it was a fun business, but you always felt like you were always a midwife, never a parent, and you kind of had to let your babies go.
Right.
And so we did a lot of e-commerce work. So we were into the space. We realized neither one of us shopped online for clothes very much.
Right.
Started to wonder what a product would be like that would appeal to us.
Yeah.
So we hacked something together like in a night. We put it up on Tumblr. Just wanted to see, what the reaction would be. Reaction was positive.
Okay.
So a few months later, we kind of realized this was going to be a much better business for us. It was going to be way more fun than doing consulting work.
You're talking about something near and dear to my heart. Jeff and I both, we do consulting, and of course we work with clients, pay our bills. And all of us that are in the trenches doing this stuff for clients, we're always like dreaming about the day when we can create a product and we can get out of this freelancing agency, whatever world, and just work on our product. Come on, man. It's not easy. This is not easy, trying to get that early money, trying to get the team. What were some of the big breakthroughs for you?
So, everything kind of came together at just the right time, where we had someone who was willing to acquire the little consulting company, and at the same time, we had some local investors who we had some good intros to, who were willing to write us a check, and all these things could happen, inside of a few weeks from one another.
Wow.
And so everything came together at just the right moment.
Holy cow. Wow. So you found somebody to actually pay you for your consulting company.
Mm-hmm.
So how big was that? Was it just you and Matt, or how many?
No, it was about 10 of us.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So you built up a pretty decent-sized team then. Very cool. So that was going, and then you said, all right, we got this little baby. We're getting some pretty good feedback on Tumblr. Let's try to raise a little bit of money.
Exactly.
How did you reach these investors? What's some good tips that you can share with our audience?
The first round of investment, it was just entirely about, who our friends were, and, how we could use our personal relationships and our business relationships to get in front of someone. Gotcha. When you don't have much of a product, you don't have any metrics, okay. You really need to rely on relationships. It needs to be someone who's trusted you. So this was, friends and family, and then a couple smaller angel investors who were willing to take a flyer on us, basically, wow. Just based on knowing who we were and that we were kind of good guys and didn't seem like total crooks.
Right, and plus it isn't just the guy with the slide deck. You've actually got somewhat of a mock-up or a prototype or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had a Tumblr with a $50 Tumblr theme that we were pretending was a product, but okay. We had some pedigree in terms of they believed that we could actually build something if we had the time to build something, because we'd built stuff before. At our consulting company, a lot of the products we were taking on or projects we were taking on were like startup-sized apps. Okay. And so at the very least, we had execution capacity proven.
Right.
So as long as we had, money and a halfway decent idea, I think they figured we'd be okay.
That's very great. I have to tell you, Jeff, I don't know about you, but this is the first time I've heard a Tumblr as a catapult to the startup product.
Yeah, I mean, we always love to say start your company.
More on Tumblr.
Yeah.
Like, it boggles my mind that there aren't 1,000 people doing crazy innovative stuff on Tumblr. And, we look and we talk to people at Tumblr. Right. There's not as much innovation as you'd imagine, considering that you can just run any piece of JavaScript inside Tumblr.
Okay, so talk to us about that, this whole idea of JavaScript on Tumblr. Well, give me some, for instance, examples that you think people should be doing that aren't doing.
So, I mean, the sky is the limit. Like, your Tumblr theme, they can let you put in basically whatever you want on a static website. So, you want to make a single-page app or run stuff in Backbone, you can totally do that. Tumblr has great APIs. You get posts out of it. The theming language is solid. Okay. I mean, there's a world of potential inside Tumblr to do all kinds of fun stuff.
Huh. God, I had no idea. I had no idea you could even run Backbone. So you're hosting all the Backbone scripts on your server, and you're just kind of...
We host all of our own external scripts, and it's totally fine. You write whatever HTML and JavaScript you would like, you can run.
What do you think, Jeff? This sounds pretty crazy to me. Is this doable, Jeff?
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty powerful platform, and then you're tapping into the whole Tumblr audience, right?
Yeah. And then you have a server separate from your app, which takes it into an order of magnitude more work than just writing a little bit of JavaScript inside your theme.
Sure.
But then we have API access. We can get at all of our posts, and we can publish into the system through the API.
Nice.
And incredibly powerful stuff that we can do from our server in tandem to what's happening on the client. And we have APIs inside our Tumblr theme that are hitting our server for things like the leaderboard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really.
You know what I have to tell you from a SEO standpoint, because Tumblr is like a PR7 or PR8, it's got huge domain authority. Any sort of keywords that you have in the subdomain or within the URL is going to instantly get all kinds of crazy, domain expertise right off the backbone. I mean, wow. Huh.
Of the Tumblr audience, what % do you happen to know is like desktop, mobile, or Android type or tablet type distribution?
So that's about 60-40, I believe, is 60% desktop, 40% everything else. And I don't know what the distribution is inside of that.
I guess I'm just curious, like how much you guys focus on mobile being a fashion app, shopping, a lot of people are thinking about this stuff while they see someone walk by wearing a piece of clothing they like, or they see it on TV while they're on the couch. How focused are you guys on mobile? I mean, I was thinking, like, would you ever consider going into like the App Store to get more eyeballs that way?
I think mobile's really important. We thankfully have a great front end engineer and head of UX, Nick Cairns, who's doing some brilliant stuff in terms of making the app very high performance on the mobile web.
Very cool.
And so I think you're going to be able to go to wantering.com and have a really excellent experience on your mobile device, whether it's a tablet or a phone. There might be a point where we want to go one step higher in terms of just the level of polish that you can only get from a native app. But it's not a huge priority only because our mobile web stuff looks so good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very
Absolutely.
cool. Very cool. So, all right. So, tell us when are you going to be rolling this new one out? What's your schedule looking like?
So we're going to do private beta starting in the next couple of weeks and roll it out more publicly probably by the end of June. Depends how glowing the feedback is or how scathing.
I have to tell you, from what I'm seeing, it looks really great. It looks really, really good.
Thanks.
Yeah, really minimal and clean. I dig that. And those big images, that's awesome. I'm assuming would you guys even consider doing authentication via Pinterest, and that way people that are on Pinterest will start pinning some of your stuff on their thing, and you can pull from Pinterest as opposed to just Facebook?
Oh, if Pinterest would let us, I mean, we'd love to. We used to do Tumblr login, and I think that's going to come back. That was a cool one. Nobody uses it for some reason. It was kind of a hack, but they have OAuth. So we're probably going to bring that back. And I'd love to if Pinterest ever release their API. It's been coming in the next few months for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've stopped holding my breath on that.
Why do you think that's? Do you think that's a purposeful thing? Do you think they're trying to lock it down and keep it secure? What's your feeling?
My personal feeling is that they are having enough trouble fighting their spam problems as it is, and opening up the API just adds many more vectors for attack.
Okay.
I mean, there's all kinds of Pinterest community who are doing stuff through basically screen scraping and posting, by emulating a browser.
Right.
And so I'm not sure it's actually a very effective way of protecting themselves.
Okay.
But I think it's a security play.
Security issue. Yeah. They're probably growing so fast. They have probably had just the growing pains of keeping it together.
Well, as a developer over here, let me ask: do you guys ever have a plan to have an API or anything like that in the product?
Yeah, I think that would be something that a lot of people have asked us about. Right now, we're just focused on ourselves, but it seems like we have data that other people would love to get at.
Very cool.
Especially curating all these the catalog so well.
Well, I'm just curious. I'm gonna geek out here for a second. What are you guys using? What's your stack? Are you guys a Backbone, Meteor?
So Django Backbone. That's kind of primarily it. There's RabbitMQ and Celery, and there's bunch of G Unicorn and a bunch of other little moving pieces, but it's primarily Django and Backbone.
Wow, very cool, very cool. I have to say, this has turned out to be an amazing interview. I really appreciate your time, Nicholas. I really do.
This has been fun.
And I look forward to the next version. If people want to, if people want to try to help you out, is there anything you're looking for, jobs or anything like that?
Right now, we're I think the team size we're going to have until we raise a Series A. Right now, it's just about giving us great product feedback. Okay. I mean, if someone wants to sign up, let us know what works, what doesn't for them. Okay. That's make it or break it for us.
Okay. And since you brought it up, that's a very good question. What is the key metric going forward for the Series A raise? What is the thing you're going to need to put in big bold letters and over again in every slide of your deck to get that Series A? What do you think it's going to be?
So I think having a really high intent to purchase, that's something where suddenly the only problem becomes, how do I throw money at this site so we can get more people to do what they're already doing? I think any time that you can simplify the fundraising process to just be about, let's maximize this one thing like purchases, it becomes a much easier sell than if you had to say, okay, we don't know if people are going to shop, and we don't know how we're going to get users, and we don't know how engaged they're going to be. Okay. If you can just get one of those things locked down, everything else becomes easy.
Okay, so let me ask you about this. So intent to purchase, how do you figure that out?
So looking forward, it's just going to be through affiliate. are they actually purchasing?
Conversion.
What percentage of people are clicking on stuff
Okay.
actually complete?
Okay.
That's going to be really important to us.
I got you.
Well, it just started the conversation. I think that's your differentiator, right? Is people show up to you guys with the intent to purchase as opposed to going to Pinterest where they're just like looking at cool ideas.
Right.
Exactly.
Wow, this is starting to sound very, very similar to what Pinterest is doing, except from what you were saying, Jeff, is reality versus aspirational.
Yeah.
Wow, very cool. If you
It's
guys get
great
even
differentiator.
a small slither of success Pinterest is getting, then you guys are gonna kick some ass, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
I mean, when you guys are a billion-dollar startup, I hope you can still take our calls, man.
Well, yeah. Speaking of which, we'll be reaching out to you in 3 or 6 months down the road and checking in and seeing how you guys are doing. If you still got more runway, and hopefully you guys are pushing the display ads by then, and we'll see what Max has got up his sleeve at that point.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah. All right, so very cool. If somebody wants to get a hold of you or the company, what's a good email?
Questions@wantering.com goes out to a few of us. We're pretty fast on responding.
Okay.
Yeah. Shoot us anything. I mean, thoughts, poems, whatever.
Awesome. So there you have it, guys. If you have any poetry, send it their way. All right. Well, thank you again for showing up. We're gonna definitely follow up with you guys. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, guys.